So this is our first step into getting things ready for the door seals and stuff to put on here. I want to make sure that all this stuff is painted, the door jamb stuff, that the seals are going, because this stuff is really old and kind of fragile, and I don't want to have to take it off again and possibly damage it. So set up where we can paint all these little spaces. The little door jambs right here I took off. I'm going to paint this as well. I'm going to do this side and the trunk area first. Then once this is all done, pull the car out, back it over this side. So I wrestled with this thought for a while, like what color, because I'm going to paint the car black. So I'm going to do this part here in black, as well as around the gas cap black and around this upper window. But inside here, and here, I'm going to do that in gray to match the engine bay. So they have this like two-tone but not two-tone aesthetic to it.
Come again.
First got to check over some POR 15 rust right there. Put some POR 15. Now that's good enough for since it's going to be painted over. It wasn't super bad, but it was getting there. Like it was going to be there like in a year or so. Same here. Wow, moisture. Look at that. Like moisture literally dripping off of. Wow. I have to wipe all that down. But anyway, yeah, all this was like that. I'm going to take the trunk lid off too. Do that. But yeah, look at all that moisture. Wow. This whole thing is wet. Anyway, that's what I'm doing today. Probably not going to film the painting process because I don't want paint getting all over the lens. So I think I'm ready. What do you think?
Want to cook?
All right, got the respirator on because I just came in here and the smell is very strong. So I pulled the trunk off, and there it is. Notice some rust here and on the other part. Put some POR 15. Sort of have done. I just did the one coat of black on here. It's not that great, but it's gonna be covered up by trim, so I think it'll be fine. Trim's on there and then it's taped off later. I think it'll be fine. If not, this can always be pulled off. But yeah. So, whew, it's very thick in here. You have some problem areas, like right here, and some other little places like that. When I painted this black, I had some weird bubbling going on. Maybe I didn't shake the can well enough. I hit it too thick. I'm not really worried about it under here because I covered it by trim. I'll sand that down. I got some runs underneath the car too, which I'll sand down later. Yeah, this is the other area where they had some rust. I put some POR 15. I hit these really fast. Might sand these down a little bit. I'm not really concerned about stuff in the trunk area as much. But yeah, kind of feel like I might tape this off and hit this piece completely. But yeah, I did black over right there and then gray in the bottom trim to match the rest of the trunk area. But yeah.
I can't breathe in this thing.
Really difficult with this mask on. I mean, it helps because I took this thing off once in here after I painted, and it was thick. I was like, oh fuck, I gotta put the mask on. I got some touching up I gotta do on the trunk, and looks like I got a little bit right here, a couple little spots. But yeah, I think it's gonna be good to leave overnight, let it fully cure. Yeah, I got some runs right here. I'm gonna hit that too. But I'll be able to get a sand block, sand it down before I take all this off, and then hit it again if I need to. A little right there. I only did one coat underneath the doors. Not gonna ever see that. If I ever come a situation where I need to hit those again, when I'm underneath the car, when I'm jacked up, I'll hit it then. Not really worried about it. No one's ever going to see it. Jeff the perfectionist will be like, what? I'm gonna see it when I'm underneath the car helping you do something.
That van's gonna rear in that taxi.
What?
The driver's distracted. He's texting. He's going 30 miles an hour. He's 60 feet to stop. He doesn't have room.
What van?
I see everything, Carl.
There's definitely a lot of overages on it, but there's definitely a lot of overages onto the main body, but that's all gonna get sanded down and painted black, so that's why I'm not that concerned about it. Filter, get. It's like the 4th time. Cheap Harbor Freight stuff.
You cheap bastard.
Also, just want to point out, I don't know how well you can tell in the light, but that filter is completely gray. I'm just like, man, that could have been in my lungs. I usually don't wear masks of any kind when doing work. You know, like definitely if I'm spray painting outside, because there's so much ventilation, and I'm usually not spraying anything really big, usually just kind of like touching up spots. But man, I knew being in this thing, in this enclosure, with it all zipped up, you know, that's why I also had glasses on to keep the paint out of my eyes. It wasn't super sealed, but enough to, like, you know, keep the paint from hitting my eyeballs. And once I was done spraying, I would sit down for a second to kind of let everything settle in there before walking out, because I didn't want to immediately come out, because while those cars are going to be painted or whatever, not so important, this car, yeah, this car over here, I don't know if you can see it very well, but that's a BMW 5 Series. Not Jeff's, it's Jeff's dad's. It's over here because Jeff's dad's working on another car and he just needed a place to put it. But yeah, definitely don't want to get overspray on that. That's why it's very still toxic smelling in there. It's probably overspray still settling, but yeah, that's why I sealed it up, keeping the overspray out. The weird thing is, like, if there were no cars here that were freshly painted, Jeff would still be like, "Oh, you gotta shut it in there. You can't. You're gonna get overspray." I was like, "Overspray on what?" Like, if there was no cars that were like painted cars, like cars that already need to paint it, like these cars, he would still be like, "Hey, you gotta send it up."
Better lock it up. No, you lock it up. You lock it up. Lock it up. Lock it up.
What I would love to do is, this tent from Harbor Freight only comes with this side that opens. I would love to get, you can go and buy pieces, get this side for the other end, you know, so I can open up both ends, and then get like a clear plastic tarp or something to like tape up and drop, and then put like fans on each side, some flow, and then you put filters. You get like air conditioning filters, and you tape them on the ends of like the fans, like box fans. I saw this guy Jambs do this. Granted, he was painting in his shop, and so he built like a little tent apparatus out of PVC inside the shop, and then covered it in plastic. But yeah, that's what I would like to do. But otherwise, it's good enough, since everything I'm painting is going to get covered up in some way, or it's just interior trim. Not your interior, or the interior door jambs area. So, you know, it doesn't really matter, because like everything I'm painting is either going to get covered up by trim or it's the door jam. So I wouldn't paint a whole car with this situation because of bugs and dust. There are lots of bugs flying into these things. But anyway, next day, trunk looks pretty cool. Right now, just sort of chasing the threads here before I put the trunk back on with a little wire brush. Now you can use a threading tool that creates threads, or a chase tool that helps clean threads. I like to use a wire brush. It's fast, it's easy. I don't have to figure out the size of the threads, find my tool, just wire brushes. There we go. So yeah, again, forgot to do an outro. Basically, after that, I installed the trunk lid back in, and finished up some few little things here and there. Did not put the door handles in. I'm gonna be doing that later, because if water comes in there, there's drains in the bottom of a door to let water out because of the windows. So I wasn't worried about that. But yeah. Also, I don't know if I want to install the door handles, because I thought the door handles were white, but come to find out they're actually chrome plated. So I'm gonna probably paint around the door handle area black, like I did some other areas, and then put them on. So, also, I don't have locks for the doors. I have ignition key. I have a trunk lock. But the trunk lock key doesn't work. Anyway, that's not the point. But yeah. So again, if you like to subscribe, you know, like again, if you like this video, like it, subscribe. And I'm trying to, like I said, put one of these out a week, a video. But yeah. See ya.